Oh, here we are. Let's see. Alrighty, I am back.
Welcome back. And I think we're all here, so I forget who's broadcasting these days. Is it still RC?
RC on Tuesdays, yeah. And we are good
Okay.
to go.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to the Lava Crows, where we last left off. Shay got their ship back. It doesn't quite look or feel 100% exactly like they remember, and there are definitely some systems that are offline and not working, but yeah, they have their ship back, which was promptly christened the Lava Crow by a certain kobold, and no one
Mhm.
objected, so that is its name now. Um, they spent some time exploring. Shay communed and flew the ship far and fast from Sulatar Tower as they could get, and they are now, after a few hours, taking a break, kind of hovering above the Obsidian Barrens like a great target for any floating pirates, but I'm sure that won't be a problem, as they decide what they're going to do because while they can absolutely fly the ship, they need a crew of more than just four for the ship to fully function. Fortunately, everything seems to be about kobold sized, although that does remind me for, let's see, Cassie and I think it was Kitlak. What are your passive perceptions?
Be a good time to get my character sheet up, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
That that would be a 13 for Cassie.
As well as Kitlak, also with 13.
Okay. Yep, no, nothing really to notice. Yeah, it's a good sturdy ship. The wood feels solid. The repair work is definitely well done. Okay, everything's in drow gray and black with purple lighting, but yeah, sails are good, weapons are good. Well, you haven't tested the weapons. You assume they're good, and the hull's intact. What more could you ask for in a ship, really? And as I recall, you last tried to remember who would make a good way you could find some crew. And we had some rules to that effect.
Also, Genevieve tested the rations and got
Yes,
slightly poisoned. Not too bad,
ever so
just
slightly
slightly.
poisoned. So you had all gathered, I think, was it in the bridge, or did you move back to the mess?
I think
Oh,
we were in
We,
Cassie.
the
We could go to the mess.
mess.
yeah,
And Cassie just found their way out from the cargo hold.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're the tables are kind of minimal. In fact, it just looks like, oop, there goes Cinder again. Looks like one long table with a couple benches. This could definitely do with an update at some point, probably. Shay looks a little dazed, but in that just had a good high sort of way.
So, where do we want to go next? I have some ideas for crew, as in some of the previous crew from the ship. Most of them are still on the Crimson Plateau.
yeah. Yes, we would need to have someone else to fly this situation. It would help.
So, do we have any suggestions?
Well, I can certainly fly this ship. I think it's just the I didn't realize this was a training pilot's helmet. If we can get that other helmet up and running, I could fly the ship nonstop.
I'll let y'all do that one. I could probably come up with some food for us after I've rested.
I need to rejoin the table. Sorry, it's not letting me roll dice. I didn't even place anything.
Yeah, I just promoted you. I didn't think you'd done anything yet.
No, I did not.
Actually, I am hungry. I didn't realize how hungry I am.
Do we have some sort of rations on this ship? I know on previous vessels I've been on, it's there's a galley somewhere. This just seems to be a
You were
dining
there to
table.
witness Genevieve poison herself with rations.
Oh yes, the poisonarium.
The poison,
Get,
the poison for Genevieve.
it's not really for you, Genevieve. It's the poison that you decided to consume. Anyway,
It wasn't that bad though.
yes, that's what they all say about the first poisoning, and then comes the liver failure.
You just got to build up an immunity.
Can I get a promote? Trying to add a table and chairs, but it just ain't working. Let's see,
Do you
can I
want to
roll
add the cargo
dice?
hold first?
Oh yeah. I mean, you have to do that though. Let's see.
How do I do it?
Here, I'll go ahead and put the thing in for you. Yeah, it's in your chat. Just I'll post it again. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Groovy. Let's see. There you go. Actually, we should probably, can we put, no, we can't put it on the other side. So here it shall be.
So the answer to your question is yes, there are rations. Genevieve, would you like to share the poisoned rations?
Not right now. Not if nobody else can eat it. She's got to wait until she can take a bit of a nap, and then she can purify it.
God darn it, did it again. All right, this is the last time. If it does it again, I'm just going to roll physical dice.
I mean, if you're hungry right now, you're more than welcome to some of the rations, but I think y'all probably do better if you wait until I purify them.
Would be appreciated. Don't think I want death by poisoning happening in the immediate future.
Ah, it's just a little bit of poisoning. It's not even a lot about poisoning. You eat enough strange mushrooms in the forest, you get kind of used to dealing with a little bit of poisoning.
I mean, you could just not eat weird mushrooms in the forest.
Well, how else will you know if something's good to eat or not? You have to test things to know if they're good to eat.
Cassie's just gonna shrug at that. She doesn't know how to respond.
I mean, someone essentially tested everything that we've ever eaten at some point.
Exactly. And that's what we're doing now. Well, what I did. I tested the rations and now I know that they're slightly poisonous, so I can save you all the hassle.
Isn't there also a spell to do that without, hurting yourself?
Oh, I'm sure there is. I don't know it right now, so it's better. It was just quicker to test it.
Fair enough.
Takes away from the adventure.
Killeg's just going to open his mouth for a second and then shut his mouth and fair enough. So where would this crew be that you were discussing?
As I said, some of it's my family, and the rest are usually are probably scattered around the Crimson Plateau.
Oh, John, could you also promote me again? I want to move the map a little bit. I'm not gonna futz with too much. It's gonna make my dice roller stop though. So, what order of business should we go about obtaining these people? I want to make sure that, well, I'm sure they're reliable. They are your family, after all.
Well, I mean, things have changed. This is not my ship; it is our ship. So I don't have a problem if you want to vet them.
I mean, that's just practical. You want to be able to vet the people that will be under your command or serving alongside you, but you know, I don't know. Let's go take her out for a whirl. There's worse things we could do with her right now than go on a joyride.
Well, I think, yeah. I mean, crew between crew and a proper helmet, those would be the two things. I don't want to be halfway through a whirl and realize, oh, yeah, we should have fixed the helmet first. As much as I would love to just go out on a whirl, that sounds like hella fun.
Did we not have? I mean, this is me talking, not Cassie. Did we not have two helmets? I thought we had one functioning, one that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, we need to fix the one functioning. Cipher said is kind of like a trainer's helmet, and so it doesn't. You can't use it as long as a regular helmet.
Or
From what
not quite.
I remember.
So your Spelljammer helm is a two-part helm. There is the helm, the chair that's on the bridge. That's the official Spelljammer helm. That is what actually controls the ship. The helmet version they designed as it's an experimental ship. This was an experimental extension of the helm to one use as a training module for you, but two also access some of the experimental systems without directly installing them into the helm. Um, it also gives you a little more mobility uh, to move around the ship and see what's going on than if you had to stick with the helm full time. The helm chair, I should say, full time. So the training wheels are on for you because at the time you were still a teenager. Figuring out how to deactivate them, yeah, that could be important. As for the other helm, it's broken. You need to investigate it, or you did investigate it. You need to solve and fix it. That is also a helmet, which is kind of odd because that's not, again, a standard Spelljammer helm, which is a chair.
I'm gonna do something weird here. Don't mind me too much.
But that sounds like it might you might be able to help with that, Cassie.
I'd have to take.
I mean, I'd have to take a look at it. Um, if it's experimental, I'd have to learn all about it.
Sure. Don't. I think Cassie has it, doesn't? Don't they?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. I thought. So does Cassie have the experimental helm, or does she have the broken helm? I thought she had the broken
You
helm.
have the
The
broken helm.
broken one. I think we've like banged out the dents in it at this point, but that's about it.
You've done the cosmetic repair, but that's it. It'll actually take you a few hours to buckle down and fix it as an artificer using tinkerer's tools.
But also, we don't want to be caught out in the middle of nowhere. Uh, we should probably at least divvy up what we can do between us. Kitlak, you seem like a a gun slash ammunition person.
Oh, so kind of you to notice. Yes, that is putting a bit of a summary on it there. Are you saying that I should be the ship's gunner? Because I would wholeheartedly agree.
I mean, it seems logical to me.
Well, then it seems plenty logical to me as well. Do we have any other, how do you say, asks, assignments?
Well, I mean, there's plenty of assignments that the four of us can't all fill, but some of the main ones are pilot, of course, which I'm kind of filling at the moment, and engineer, obviously, for any spelljammer. That sounds like a Cassie thing. Um,
Obviously.
and uh, Genevieve, quartermaster, morale officer, all of the above, miscellaneous.
Perhaps chef?
Oh, she's more than a chef.
Oh, don't knock a chef. A chef is the heart and soul of a ship. Everyone's banging on about, oh, captain this, captain that. But if you don't have a chef, your ship suffers. Your morale suffers.
Captain Chef.
It's important enough that I wouldn't want to multitask it.
And I'm not sure what all those other things are, but I know I can cook.
Did you count?
Depends on what I'm counting.
Stuff. Um. So, I mean, chef. Sure, just start out with chef, and I mean, if you see anything you'd like to branch out into, I guess. Um, in my experience, there's like one person that makes the final decision, but we've been doing pretty well as a group here. I think we could captain by committee.
I would agree to a point. I think when you are under combat and stress is high, you don't want to institute a vote for every individual ship's action. I think that in general we can captain by committee, but it would be handy to have someone we defer to in combat. Not a captain per se, but maybe a tactician of a sort.
In Shay's experience, would her dad have been a tactician, or was he more of a grunt?
Your parents were definitely hype in the crew, although your mother did focus more on navigation, and she tended to do more spell jamming than anyone else in terms of flying the ship. Um, your father was more of a head engineer and uh, ship coordinator than anything else, which is why they had so much leeway with you. Uh, did you have a tactician? Well, given how everything ended with the ship, if you did, you didn't have a good one. But that was also not necessarily what you were focused on growing up. Like you knew there were people that ran the ship. Did you know every single office? Was that important to you, Shay?
No.
I will point
Well,
out you do know that the gunners require multiple people to function. Typically, uh, in theory, you could have a tactician who coordinates gunners, which might fit Kitlack better than him trying to man a weapon that requires 5 people to activate and fire in a single turn.
I mean, that's kind of what, yeah, that's kind of what he would be doing, you know. Anyway, um,
I can also act as the medic if we think we're going to need one.
I'll medic on when you go out on adventures. Things tend to happen. But as far as other crew, I mean, do you know who else here has experience with spelljammers? Kitlak, I think you said you had some.
Oh, yes.
Do
Grew
you
up on a spelljammer after all.
know? Do you know of any? Well, so did I. Yes.
Do I know of anyone who would crew? Well, all of my crew, that of the last spelljammer I was on, were killed horribly. So, in answer, no, I do not. John, could you promote me again?
Well, everyone that was on the spelljammer I was on. Well, they didn't get killed. They didn't all get killed, but they definitely got kicked off. So may, maybe we don't know the best people.
I mean, I'm going to be learning too, so maybe we can just find some people who are willing to learn, who maybe want to hop on board.
Yes, a bargain basement crew. That sounds alluring of a sort.
I mean, my father would definitely hop on the chance. He is bored out of his mind being a farmer.
Kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding you.
No, sorry. I just keep trying to. I have the walls in the spelljammer bottom floor, and I keep trying to put them down, and they're down on my screen, but then it locks up, and I can't do anything because it. I don't know.
They're floating
Sorry.
on my screen, just FYI.
Yeah, because they are actually floating. I didn't move them down. In the real world, I'm just seeing them. That's what locks me up, and I can't select anything else.
As far as Shay's mother,
Right, I'm just not
how
gonna
do
do
I
it.
put this as a child? Uh, not does she trust her, but wh- how have her motives changed? I guess
Your mother was a
since the
very
spelljammer.
your mother was a very dedicated researcher and a dedicated spelljammer. Her interest in spelljamming was more to learn about the astral sea and uncover its secrets and, if possible, create a map, which is, of course, impossible in the astral sea, but it was a goal. The conundrum and mystery around trying to figure out where the asteroid is going and mapping its currents and why it's interacted with certain astral navigational events is fascinating. She is she is absorbed in her new work. She wasn't absorbed when you knew her. She could be distracted at times, but she loved you, loved raising you, loved teaching you what she could. Now she has the loss of the ship kind of created a distance, not necessarily on purpose, Uh, I mean, all daughters hate their mothers just a little, so that was always going to happen. But um, or so a crazy ex-girlfriend tells me. But in this case, it was more the loss of the ship. Kind of, you wanted the ship back. It was still your life. That was gone for her. Like it's dead in her mind. So that's been sort of a point, a wedge that's been driven between you because you've wanted this ship back. She, as far as she's concerned, it's over, done with, gone. She doesn't really even like talking about it except in occasional past tense.
Yeah, I think I've got that. I guess I should have asked a more in depth question, whereas her motives and if she approached her and asked for suggestions from who she knows as like crew members.
She is deep in her research pod, so to speak, but you could always put in the request.
I mean,
Granted, you have
would she
seen.
think? Would she? I guess my question is, would Shay think that the researcher group might have people that might want to come on? I mean, it sounds like yes. I guess I shouldn't be
The
asking
answer is
the DM and just
absolutely
going and
yes.
trying.
The answer is absolutely yes, with a caveat of are they doing it for the right reasons?
That yeah, that's my question.
But
I
that's
guess
going
I
to be the
shouldn't be
question for
asking. Right,
everyone.
right. Yeah, I shouldn't have expected an answer. I should have just said, "Oh, yeah, we should understand that going in." Okay, but yeah, definitely someone in the research crew would probably be willing to sign on. It depends on, and then what will we
Or at
have them
least know
do?
someone that would sign on. But you would have to get a message to your mother requesting it, and she would have to share it with the group.
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing when you're talking about crew is trust. As the kind of crew we've come up against in on the asteroid, maybe trust is a little bit hard to come by. So trust with trust but verify, or do we know anyone? Do y'all know anyone that you might want to bring on as crew that you could sort of trust?
So, as a refresher from the roles of last time, Kitlak, you asked if Suka would be a good crew member, and the answer is because you weren't sure of their motivations and also their how they are living their lifestyle. You're pretty sure that they don't want to leave on the Spelljammer. They might have a contact or two, or at the very least, they'll be a good fence if you bring back any good loot. Um, but they do know people. They might be able to ask around. That's what you figured out. Um, for Genevieve, you haven't been here long, but you are pretty sure that if you asked old Becky, she might have a crew member or two for you. Whether you could trust them, who knows? But you also know that the Roaring Hollow, and all of you figured this one out, if you told the professor, he would absolutely. It's a research vessel. It's an old research vessel with experimental tech on it. They would probably assign someone if you asked. Again, whether they would be loyal to you or to Mr. Normandy, hard to tell. Um, and there is, of course, the Crimson Plateau. There are always former and people seeking crews at the Crimson Plateau. Uh, some are more trustworthy than others. It just depends on how you build your bridges and who you trust.
And what would not like the specialized crew, but just like a normal crew for just general operation? How many would that require? Or would have
So,
been on the boat when Shay was on there? The
there
ship.
were about a dozen people, maybe 15 when you were younger, and it didn't take all of them to necessarily run the entire ship. You do know in battle, it took the majority of them to handle the ship and the weapons. The weapons eat up a lot of crew. Basically, um, in numerical terms, you're looking at, let's see, 11 crew members just to handle the two ballista and the is it mangonel? I can't remember if it's a mangonel or catapult. That says catapult, but I think it's actually a mangonel. Mangonel? Uh, whatever it's called. Two ballista.
Mangonel, I
Mangonel.
think. I
It is
think you got it
mangonel.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. So it takes 11 people to handle just those three weapons, which means at the very least you need 11 crew members in case you get into a battle. Um, the ram, of course, costs no one to run because you just ram the ship. It just causes damage to the ship. The rest of the crew, they kind of worked because the weaponry was sort of a secondary or even tertiary responsibility. A lot of your crew members worked on experimental tech or research, stuff like that. So it really depends on, do you want just dedicated gunners, or do you want people who know how to use the weapons but are willing to do other things in the process? But you're looking at a minimum of, not counting you, probably 12 in general, just to have 11 for weapons and one for, well, let's see, you have a chef, you have an engineer, we hope. We'll see how well Cassie does. Actually,
Cassie
we'll
be
see how
quiet.
well Genevieve does too. Um, that's the only thing you really need is a captain, and that's also a toss up. Does the ship need a captain? Eh. Sometimes spelljammers act as captains. Do you feel like you're up for that, Shay?
Possibly. I guess I just RP this. So what if we hired a kobold group to like do the general stuff? I don't know if they would come in like groups of 5 or 6. I like whenever I'm coming to contact with a kobold. What's the group called? A den or a
A
warren or
Warren, Gitlax
okay.
says, just kind of arcing a scaly eyebrow.
Well, you're not in a warren, so obviously. Um, do they come in groups of that small? I have no idea whenever I interact with a warren how many there actually are in there. Are there like is there like
That's
30 of
part of the
them?
point.
50? 6 of
If
them? Can we get a group of 6 for the ship?
if I may, Warrens differ in sizes, and part of the point of Warrens having variable sizes is that you don't know how many kobolds there are. So you could be tangling with 3 kobolds, you could be tangling with 3,000. You don't know, and that's why you don't do it, in theory.
Oh, so you're suggesting not kobolds. Are you
No, no,
racist
no.
against kobolds?
Kobolds? No, no. What? He like gives you like a what the fuck kind of
She was
stare.
no, no if you
Clearly, I
as long
know
as you
it's a
get an
joke.
inside check of 1, it's a joke.
Yeah. No. Kobolds are a fine choice. I am unbiased in that, believe me. But I think that having crew that functions on a relative hive mind would be a nice thing to have for a quite a great deal of reasons. In short, yes, I think that we should
Yes,
try a kobold crew.
Until they try to trap
yes, the
the
kobold crew.
until they try to trap the ship on us.
Is that a bad thing? They wouldn't trap it for us, they'd trap it for other people.
Are
You're
you
assuming
sure
they would be
about
good
that?
at that.
Are you sure about
Yes,
that?
I am.
Because I don't think that
Uh,
I'd want to come out
Kobolds
of
are.
the kitchen or my room and then risk stepping on a whatever trap they chose to stick in that
Well,
hallway at that point.
now
Oh, you
who's
could
being racist?
well, I'm sure you could trip on them in your own room. Um there's vents. It has to be on a ship. Um
In fairness,
Yes.
the crew
So
quarters are all in front. You all share the same crew quarters.
Yes.
Do they work on
So,
contracts? Sorry, Cassie, go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Remarkably, kobolds are much like you or me in that they all have different deals and different purposes and different things they want. You're going to have to treat with them as individuals, or perhaps as a large group, whichever. Just ask. In
Well,
fact, we can
how
go
do
to
we
any kobold bar and try and go from there if we would like.
how do we treat with them as individuals if we don't know how many there are?
Go to them and ask. Kilek says through gritted teeth, clearly tired of his his nominal people being treated as like a line item or something insubstantial. It's something on paper as opposed to in practice.
Well, I don't have any other ideas, so I'm okay with it. I
Great,
just
kobold
figured
bar.
I just figured I'd bring up the possibility of traps because I know that
yes.
we've been
So,
to a few bars.
Look, you need to understand.
yes.
It's the
So,
possibility.
kobolds.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you go
Step
ahead.
out. Talk.
I'm not gonna let you play that card.
I was just going to say that kobolds are very protective of their homes. They're very protective of their family groups. As long as you treat them well, they will make sure that you are not going to get targeted by those traps.
Everyone except Shay, roll me a quick insight check. Shay, you can do it with disadvantage.
Hooray, the dice roller works. Guidance.
That's not a
No,
guidance.
no,
That's
that's a
not a.
that's a guidance die, but RC's isn't that one.
Yes, it is.
That's hilarious.
12?
Okay, and Cassie?
Kit like it's a hot 6.
What am I rolling again?
Insight.
Insight.
Am I inciting myself?
No. Just a situation. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
you know
that's
stuff.
7.
Okay. Genevieve, you think that everyone on board the crew will absolutely be able to treat the kobolds with respect, and as people, it'll be perfect. Absolutely, get as many kobolds on board as you can. Surprisingly enough, Shay, you have a little inkling of doubt in the back of your head as you realize that almost every encounter in a kobold bar has not ended well in terms of your interactions with them, especially the latest. Um, you may have to grow as a person, or learn as a person, or do some research on kobold sociology, something, because otherwise you're going to find yourself getting trapped a few times. Probably not deadly since you are the spelljammer, but yeah, you're going to have to tread carefully until you learn a bit more.
Oh, I have an idea.
To be fair, Kitlak, I was not trying to be rude or anything. My only interactions with kobolds have been the ones in the bars that we've been to, and then you and Cassie. So I don't exactly have a good knowledge of what they're like outside of those situations.
Also, in fairness, and no offense intended, Cassie, I'm not even sure Cassie was a kobold necessarily. Cassie's memory does seem to have a lot of holes.
It's not quite full of holes like cheese.
Almost said Swiss cheese there.
To be
From
fair,
Space Switzerland.
when I first met all of you, you all had holes in your memory.
Yes, that is what happens when you get involved with the corporations.
However, I assume that the unfortunate circumstances of your past Kitlak meant that your Warren is no more?
Look, I have never been a part of a warren. I assume that a kobold in a warren produced me and my sister, but I don't really know. They could have been a kobold outsider, such as myself, for all I understand. I was born in a smuggling ship, as was my sister, my only blood family. I was raised by smugglers, and that's pretty much the long and short of it. And in no point in that was there ever a warren involved.
And is that something that you feel you is a lack?
No.
No.
Glad we had
I
this
mean,
conversation.
okay, just for where my thought was process was going. If I don't know how new warrens are created, but if you wanted to
Usually by
create
kobolds.
your own new warren, then you would. I don't know if there's a head kobold in a warren, but
Depends on how they are governed. Usually there is some sort of chieftain or council or some such, from my understanding. Often a dragon, if they can find one, leads the warren. Or new warrens are usually this warren is populous enough that it needs to send off a portion of its kobolds as a colonizing force, and that's how you get a second warren and a third and a fourth and so on. I
mm-hmm.
do not think that I need to make a warren. Although, if we have kobolds that are willing to serve as our crew, and our members of the crew are not going to antagonize them, then that would be fine. It's not like I need a warren, it's that it would be fine.
Hypothetically, would
Oops,
you
go
be
ahead.
able to convince other kobolds that the lava crow is a type of dragon?
They're kobolds, not idiots.
Eh, little from
Like
column
just
A, little
takes
from
his
column
gun and
B.
puts it on the table in front of him and smiles a big old toothy smile.
Look,
Go on.
I'm not saying
No,
they're
no,
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 I'm not
no.
saying they're
It's
idiots.
all right.
What I'm saying is that they have a different way of looking at the world than me.
Then what? Yes. Hmm.
And you mentioned it yourselves that they tend to go for dragons, right?
They
The
know
weight
what
of
a
all those invitations in your pocket weighs heavily. Kitlak.
they know what a spell jammer is, you nonce.
So I think that we should vote that Kitlak be the captain and not Shay.
I don't necessarily need to be the captain, but I think Shay should not be the captain.
I I similarly agree that I should not be the captain, but also that Kitlak should not be the captain.
I don't really care either way about me being the captain, I'll be honest with you.
You can always hire a
Cassie,
captain. You know that. Oh, so
Cassie,
go ahead,
so
Cassie.
Cassie just reaches up and puts her finger inside her nose.
Oh, you want to be the captain, Cassie?
No, that's the opposite, Chester. You know what? We're struggling looking for a role for Genevieve to play, and here she is already playing Peacemaker. I think that Genevieve should be the captain in honesty. Seems to be the most level-headed of us all of us lot.
I don't know about that. I don't even know how
Genevieve,
to.
something inside you wriggles in your soul at the joy of being able to command lesser beings once again. Then the thought flees. You don't know where that came from.
We'll figure it out, I think.
What if we hired a captain with the four of us as a balancing group.
I think you're thinking about it too hard.
So you want to hire someone that is going to tell us what to do.
No. No, no, no.
Look, I actually don't have too much of an objection of one of us being a captain, but almost sounds like none of us want to be the captain.
I mean, if nobody else wants the role, I'll do it. It's not, something I'm really in the running for, but
That's
if
not a
someone
declaration
needs,
of kind of declaration that I'm looking for out of a captain.
what are you looking for? I shall be the captain, lesser creatures. Stand aside and let me decide your fate. I can say that too, if you'd like.
Genevieve,
Well,
you have the sudden urge to crush Kitlak's skull, and it too flees away in your head.
I mean, plus a resume.
Kid like pats the gun on the table. Resume.
That is not that. No, that is like almost disqualification for being a captain if that is part of your resume.
you'd be amazed at how many jobs that's got me. It's a
Kitlak,
really
roll
good
me
resume.
your history or your insight. Your choice.
Kitlek smiles, his sharpest smile. It's got bullet points. History or what?
Insight, and you can have inspiration for that, goddammit.
Okay. I'm gonna put some guidance on that as well.
It's a format gun.
Wow. Okay. That will be a 12, as it turns out.
For history or insight.
Oh, so that would be a 14 for history.
For history? Well,
Yeah.
your recent interactions indicate that you are somewhat famous among the kobold warrens on this asteroid now. You could probably lead quite a group, like you said. All it takes is a little splinter for a new warren to form. The question is, how loyal would they be to you? Loyal enough to follow your orders and treat everyone with respect, or so loyal that they would slaughter the other non kobolds in the night so that you have absolute command? It's a fine line. You could probably dance it.
Yeah, Kitlag, I don't know. From the interactions with the kobolds he's had, he knows that kobolds in general don't want to fuck up a group. Like they they seem like they are committed to the greater whole, you know. Uh and he hasn't really seen them do anything that would mean that they would turn on one another, not Cobalt and Cobalt, but like Cobalt and crewmate. Like he honestly he thinks in terms of like the smuggler ship where it's all like a blended family to him. And he doesn't like the thought of like the kobolds trying to harm the other residents of the ship because they're not kobolds doesn't super penetrate his skull. What does penetrate his skull is someone like I don't know, just not naming any names here, but someone saying something racist against kobolds and then ending up vented out an airlock.
That was you.
I said not naming any names. I could see how that would go a lot of different ways for a lot of different people, but that does concern Kitlak. But he feels like that's a risk he's willing to take.
I mean, the good news
Fairness.
is technically there's an air envelope, so they'd have to kick you off, and then they'd have to move the ship so that you're out of the envelope, and then you'd be in the astral sea, which would just put you in stasis indefinitely until something
Yeah.
found you.
They could just keel haul you, throw a rope out, tie it to you, tie the other end of the ship, and just drag you along for a while.
Yeah, yeah, you have definitely heard stories of that. They have never ended well. There are, after all, quite a few scavengers in the sea, but yeah, that happens.
One of them was taken by a murder comet. Strangest thing. Comet with a face just bit the dude clean in half. He had it coming, though. He cheated at cards.
Ironic coming from Kitlak.
Well, he cheated at cards and got caught, is the problem. You're allowed to cheat if you don't get caught.
By the by, Shay, would you just roll me a quick perception check?
I mean, that's technically not wrong.
And then there was that guy we marooned on a planet full of space clowns. That was not funny.
No clowns.
You and I will find agreement on that.
What was that perception check?
5.
Okay. Yep, nope, nothing. You're fine. So what is the decision? Or are we going to continue talking? Is Kitlak captain? Where is everything falling?
No.
Kidlack's going to put a hand up. I'm going to nominate myself for captain just to keep this thing moving. We can discuss who retains captaincy at a later date if it needs to transfer. I'm totally open to that, but we need an interim captain, and I think that somebody should do that.
Cinder's gonna give a bit of a double chirp.
I don't even know what
Seconded.
you're talking about.
Also, I vote that we investigate the ins and outs of having a kobold crew. They may not be ideal, but they are far from the worst option that we could have, and certainly among the more trustworthy.
Shay is just blabbering us at this point. How? You just yelled at me for saying the same thing.
What? That they're trustworthy? No.
No, that they're far from ideal.
No, the way you said it was racist, though. Let's be
No,
clear.
it wasn't. You just took it racistly.
Yes, the real racist was the offended party all along. Classic!
No, I just said you overtook what I...
Classic!
Yeah, typical. Typical kobold.
There it is again. Anyhow, that is
Look,
what I put forth before the Council of Minds here.
I provisionally agree.
Really?
Because I think you have the most experience on a spelljammer of the four of us currently, but so provisionally, until we decide otherwise, someone needs to, right?
Right.
You're the interim captain, and that's if Genevieve and Cassie agree.
I've got no problem with it.
Well, also Cinder. Cinder's an important member of the crew as well. Ketlack's going to gesture to the weird robot dragon thing.
Yes, but she doesn't understand what we're saying.
Well, she can still cast the tie-breaking vote.
Well, what about Genevieve's little friend?
Yes.
There's your racism right there. I got you.
It's not a race. It's a weasel thing. I don't know what that is.
Let it cook.
Well, it's not a weasel. Weasels are more elongated.
It's some kind of rodent, regardless.
And? What's your point?
I don't think a chinchilla is actually a rodent. I'd explain to 3 separate adults at my job that weasels weren't rodents. I don't know why. It was in the span of 2 weeks. Anyway.
Yes, interim captain. What is your point?
Look, I don't really have one. Let's go find a nice kobold bar and get some drinks and talk about hiring people. Yes?
Sounds good.
Chinchillas are considered rodents, by the way.
Really?
Yep, they're in the same category as like guinea pigs and porcupines. Yes, you don't think of a porcupine as a rodent, but I guess technically they are.
Yeah, I guess they are rodents.
By the by, Sorry, give me 1 second here. The ship shakes
So,
as two things strike it.
No?
Yep. Let's see. That is going to be. You feel the ship just kind of get pushed by force energy, and one of the sails seems to just kind of. Shay, you would feel this. You feels like one of the sails just stops functioning, and the ship does take damage.
Stops functioning how? As
Yeah,
in, like,
can she just jam the helmet on her head, or does she need to be on the bridge to actually figure out what's going on?
I mean, in theory, you can just jam the helmet on your head and get going.
Yeah, she'll put the helmet on to try and figure out what's going on.
Let's see, where are the hit points of the Spelljammer? There it is. Let's see how
Kitlak is
much
going.
damage your newly restored ship takes.
Kitlak's going to
Yeah.
yell out, "Get underway! Go! Fast as you can!" And Kitlak is going to sprint, just dead sprint for the weapons. So from here, I think he could probably make it up to the weapons deck with the ballista. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 would get him right over to where the ballista are. It's like right about there. What does he
You
see
get
up
to
there?
make me a perception check. Go ahead, Genevieve.
I was just going to say, I think
Oh, no, he
Genevieve
doesn't
would
have
follow
guidance.
him because she doesn't really know how to do these things.
That is.
Yes, and I think Cassie as well.
That is a 18 perception.
At the very distance, at maybe 100 feet away, you see this strange metallic eyeball with eye stalks flying towards you at, well, you wouldn't call it a breakneck speed. You would call it normal speed.
is this your meteor, Kitlak?
No, this is something different. It appears to be a mechanical creature of some kind. Someone's mockery of Beholderkin would be my guess. As for why
Um,
it is targeting us,
well, you are just hanging around there and have been for a while. You don't exactly
uh,
look like a tough little ship.
Good job,
where
Captain.
where are we? As like I assumed we were in dock while we were having this
No,
conversation.
we were in
No,
the middle
you
of
have been
nowhere.
floating over the
Oh,
obsidian
okay.
barrens. You have literally been a target. It's just this is the strange one that decided to notice you.
All right. Cool. Can Kitlak fire off a shot with one of the ballistae?
Certainly.
Right.
Give me 1 second.
We
Yep,
need
I just wanted to
3
check that.
people for that, right?
That
Load,
is
aim, and
correct.
fire.
Is this a cinematic thing, or are we
Correct.
rolling
We are. It is a
initiative?
cinematic thing so far. Let's see. Range of the ballista, 120 feet. Yeah, it's within range. One action to load, one action to aim, one action to fire. Make me
Well,
an attack roll.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Cinder's a person, right?
No.
No.
Cinder has actions. Woo!
Cinder
Okay,
is.
do I add proficiency to that or just dexterity?
Let's see. Are you proficient with? Oh, what would you call a
I mean,
ballista?
I would argue that Kitlak would probably be proficient with common ship weapons.
I would say if you're proficient with guns, longbows, or crossbows, you get proficiency with this. So
Groovy.
yes.
Okay. So that is a 6 plus a 17. That is a 23 to hit.
That. Where is it? Let's see. 23 will hit.
Follow-up question. Can I use a arcane archer thing?
You want to empower the bolt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that an action?
No, it's something that you do as part of the attack.
Ooh.
Also, I would have had a 25 because I have a +2 bonus to range attack weapon rolls, and this is a ranged weapon attack.
What effect are you
roll.
going for? Let me
Not a
do it that
weapon.
way.
Is it not a weapon?
No, unfortunately, it's not a weapon. It's an object with an attack action.
Weird. Anyway, Kitlak is going to. So he has essentially ammo that is magically imbued that he uses for his guns. He is before firing going to take one of the burst ammo shots that he has that explodes and like kind of wedge it behind the head of the bolt and let loose with the shot so that when it strikes the bomb essentially will go off.
Um, I'm going to say, since we're cinematic this time, yes. If we're in battle, that will take an action, though, in the
Normally it
future.
doesn't. It just is like as part of the action, as part of the
You are
attack to do
wedging
it.
one weapon into another
It's just a
to make
piece of
this work.
ammunition, and it's like putting ammo in like a crossbow or something. Anyway, um,
I'll consider.
yeah,
Let me think on it.
How
When this
far
goes into
away
the
is
battle,
it?
about 100 feet.
Okay.
yep. So let's see. Success target takes yeah.
Oh yeah. The
So
damage is
3d10 if I
3d10.
recall correctly. Yeah.
Yep.
And
But there is
it
a
needs
damage
to.
threshold you have to meet first.
Yeah, it also needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Oh no, actually, never mind. It doesn't make a saving throw at all. It just goes, just does. All right, so it's going to be 3d8 or 3d10 and 2d6. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. There we go. Sorry for the hullabaloo here. That is a 20.
That does beat the threshold. Yes, you deal 20 damage to it. Um, as the ballist, they surprisingly kind of goes boom right on part of the hull, and it also kind of shakes in the air. Uh, Shay, you note that with the sail not functional, you have about half speed right now.
Can she figure out what actually hit them? Was it just something from the beholder?
Roll me an Arcana.
$19.
Some sort of neutralizing, or if the sail was a creature, you would consider some sort of paralysis effect. On a sail, it just seems to have disabled it for a limited time, probably a minute, give or take. Uh,
Minutes long
you just
enough.
have half
Good
speed. You
grief.
can't really. Well, it's a good way to neutralize a ship's ability to escape, if you think about it. Not a problem on the Astral Sea, problem in wild space, which is where technically you are right now. So you currently have half speed for a minute.
Hang on. Did you send me something as far as like actions and stuff for the
Yes,
Spelljammer?
if you check
It's
your Lava Crow's resources, you will see the ship sheet, and it tells you what the Spelljammer can choose. You do not have a full crew right now, so the crew only chooses one action at the moment. Um, and your action options are listed as well under the Spelljammer. You can move, dodge, full stop, land, or ramming speed.
so
This thing has
theoretical
scratched the new
question.
paint.
Theoretical question. Well, that's
Okay.
it's not a good Spelljammer if it doesn't have a scratch or two. Does it ram in both directions?
No, a ram is forward facing. You hit it, you're done.
So am I facing? Are we facing toward the
Oh,
thing or away?
it is kind of coming in from the side. You would have to turn the ship. But you have, let's see, your speed is
35.
35 feet. So I would say you have, I'll give you a 15 just because we're keeping things easy. You got 15 speed right now. It's not a fast vessel, but it is coming.
Sorry, where are we?
Tyler, do you have a tiny beholder?
Where
Me?
are we on the map?
Tiny beholder. Let me see. I actually think I
Right
might have this
here.
exact thing.
Shay is going to move the ship as fast as she can toward the Roaring Hollows, thinking that they might have some defenses to help out if needs be, if they get close enough.
Okay. Keep in mind that is hours away, and with the half speed, it's even more hours away.
Well, they got to go somewhere.
Okay. You start the ship up. You get moving. It's not a fast-moving object, but it is definitely faster than you at the moment,
It's
and it's heading your way.
is the damage something that the other crew members could fix?
Um, Possibly, but you have to tell them, and they'd have to figure it out.
There's something wrong with the one of the sails.
God.
If you could fix that, I'm sorry, Kitlak.
No, I'm sorry. It just
Oh, you've been
it
captain for
keeps
5 minutes.
it keeps thinking I'm doing
Wow.
a thing that I'm not presently doing, and then it gets stuck doing that. I do not know why.
If you could figure out how to fix it, we would be going faster away from the beholder.
Genevieve will look. What does it look like? It's ripped, just
So
cattywampus.
one sail is functioning just fine. The other sail seems to just be stiff. The solar winds that blow through this asteroid don't seem to be touching it, don't seem to be affecting it. It's as if it's just it's not there. It has no capability to process solar winds or any winds or contribute anything other than being a dead weight, basically. Two more hits. Uh, let's see.
Could she also run? So I'm not quite understanding. If she can just do stuff with the helmet, what's the point of the
The
bridge?
downside is if you make any sort of save or you take any sort of damage, basically it counts as a concentration check. So it can break
Unless I'm
your
in the
ability to move
bridge.
the ship. I'm sorry, what?
Unless I'm in the bridge.
Correct. If you're on the official spelljamming helm or near it, um, yeah, you don't have to worry about that unless they fire, say, a psychic attack that doesn't hurt the ship but might hurt you.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
She's also running to the bridge.
I mean, the bridge
She
was
would
right
understand
behind
that.
you. Yeah, you're in the bridge. Yeah, I
Okay.
figured the bridge is literally right behind
Okay.
you. I can even move you there. Let's see. Yeah, see the door right here. You eat, you turn around, you go back to the bridge.
Okay.
And this time, not only is there a bit of force damage, you can feel something rotting the wood of the ship
Uh,
as whatever that second raid does seems to eat at dead wood.
Genevieve's just gonna look at Cassie and say, I don't know what's wrong with that sail, but maybe you can take a look at it.
Seems petrified to me, Kitlak says absent-mindedly, trying to track the thing with the weapons.
If it's petrified, I can't do anything about it.
What Cassie will do in the meantime, though, is she's going to drop an Eldritch Cannon. Specifically the Force Ballista.
Okay. Also, Tyler, I will remind you that you do have the King's Arrow.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do have that. And if you want a beholder miniature, John, for whatever reason, I'm just not able to do it. But it is
It's
in this
fine.
bag right here.
Okay,
There's
got it.
so in the large NBC's bag, just search for beholder. Like right click, go to search, yeah, then search for beholder, and there will be like 3 or 4 of them you can choose from.
Perfect. They're all great big mauve balls. Okay,
Yeah. Well, they
whatever.
load.
Yep. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you're right. It just takes a minute to load. Oop, I don't know where one went. Did it fall on the board?
About how far away is this beholderkin?
Um, well, it was about 100 feet. Now it's closer to 90. By the way, with that damage, your ship is, let's see. It was bruised, bloodied, and battered, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Blue,
your ship is
bruised,
not
bloody,
bruised.
Bloody
beaten.
beaten.
Yep.
Okay, your ship would be considered bruised at this point. It may be a small ship, it may
Right.
be a slow ship, but it does apparently pack a punch.
So immediately after that Force Ballista is placed down, she's going to make an attack the beholder.
Okay, make the attack.
It seems to be lagging.
I see an 8.
I see an 8.
It didn't even roll on my screen. That was weird. Yeah, so that would be 15.
15, miss.
Are we in initiative order now, or what's going on
No,
with
we're
that?
still cinematic. So Genevieve or Kitlak, you have lost one person, so you can no longer simply fire the ballista in one go. It'll take a little extra time. Um,
Fine. Kitlek is going to whip out the star rail that he has and activate Mark of the Star on this thing, and then transition it to its full-on like howitzer cannon mode. With just a big thunk, a large cannon, like a futuristic Magitech cannon, lands on the deck. And Kitlek begins tracking this thing and humming to himself a little bit. If we're still in cinematic, and if he can take a shot, he will take a shot.
uh, yeah, with cinematic. Yeah, go for it.
All right, gets temporary hit points equal to half his level plus proficiency bonus. He is level 3, so that is a hot 3 temporary hit points. Okay. Let's see. So that is going to be one of these to hit. Does it still have his mastery when he uses it in this mode?
Ooh, that is a good question. I would say ballista do not grant you mastery, so in this case, no.
All right. Can he still use his arcane archer stuff with it in this mode, given that it's still a weapon?
Yes, because it is technically still a weapon. Yeah,
Okay. Um,
the normal ballistae are objects with a weapon attack, but this is a magitech thing. So yeah, I would count it as a weapon. It just doesn't give you the mastery because it's no longer technically a gun. Oh,
That is unfortunate. Yep. All right. So that's a nat one.
you fire a beam trying to hit it, and it is 300 feet, so it goes quite far. Um, I'm going to roll a quick luck die if you don't mind.
Go for it.
So there is good news and bad news that you notice, Kitlak. The good news is that whatever that beam of energy was, it seems to have given this mechanical beholder thing pause. It has stopped following you and seems to be reconsidering whether to continue following. The other thing you notice is that the citadel of the Fallen's Forge seems to spark, as if a star launches up just for a second. You're not sure what that means, but there was that warning about not letting the Fallen know about you having this. Genevieve, what are you doing?
Genevieve, how close did you say the Beholderkin was?
It's about 70 to 80 feet at this point. Although you are currently moving away from it, so it is getting farther by the second.
Well, that's a
By the
good
6 second.
thing. Because there's not a whole lot she can do other than all of her spells are within 60 feet, so not a lot that she can do. So I guess she'll just prepare ominous winds in case the Beholderkin gets any closer.
All right, as you fly further away, it seems to have changed its mind after that showing, Kitlak. You apparently intimidated it without having to make an intimidation roll. Well done.
Yep,
And it
all I
seems to
got's a
be,
nat 1.
yeah, and it's turning away for to fly off. After about a
Alright.
minute, the sail seems to be functioning again, and you're back to your normal speed. Are you still headed for the Roaring Hollow? Oh, there's what the other fell.
Captain, we're currently headed towards the Roaring Hollow. Do you want to change course?
Kitlak's going to dismiss the ballistae and tuck the star rail away. I guess I fluffed it as like a howitzer cannon, but regardless. Roaring Hollow didn't have the kobold bar. That was someplace else.
Correct. The Roaring Hollow had a dragon rot bar that were kind of disdainful about the kobold bar, kobold bars in general. I mean, they approved of how efficient they run, but they also were very disturbed by the cultish atmosphere and the reverence for an obviously dead god.
So, Rivishold is where we started out, yeah. So,
No, the little city beside Rivishold, which I believe is just called Colony, which isn't. Rivishold claims it as its own. It is not.
subject to approval by the crew, set course for Colony. We're going to rustle up some old friends. All in favor?
What the heck is Colony?
It's across the Great Mine from Rivishold. Come on now. You were there. We were all there.
It's not on the map.
That's where we met you.
Yeah, you found your way there.
It's not an official. That's why it's not named. It's not an official place. Rivishold claims all of Great Mine. Everyone's like, yeah, okay, you can claim that all you want, else, but we were here first. It's just a lot less impressive and not very. It's not a power in the region, so to speak.
Colony is where we all met Shay, right?
Correct.
That's where Suka is.
Correct.
Shay, that's where we met you.
Well, that place had a name?
Would you just go there?
Yeah. Oh, yes. I'm on my way.
Well, while they're all discussing that, Cassie is going to do her job, and she's going to start wandering the ship, and casting mending on it once an hour.
Can Shay help locating the damaged areas?
They are all on the outside, and Cassie, you can absolutely. There is an error envelope. As long as you make sure to stay tethered to the ship, you can absolutely. Actually, I don't think you even.
Or if you can fly faster than 35.
I was gonna say, I don't think you even need a tether. As long as you're walking on the hull, you are considered still part of the ship. So yeah, you can just walk on the hull and begin doing repairs if you want. Absolutely. Takes
Yeah,
1 minute, right?
absolutely do that. Yes,
Each
it takes
mending
1 minute
takes
to
1 minute.
cast each time, but she can only do it once an hour to restore hit points of the ship.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, let me put it this way. The ship's normal hit points are 200. You're currently at 146.
Um, if I could ask Tyler for something in the future, not currently right now, but if we could get like a ship HP counter somewhere, that would be awesome.
Sure, my ability to generate things today is kind of at an
Yeah,
all-time
yeah, yeah.
low.
Don't
So
worry about it today. Just
yeah,
for in
I
the
don't know
future.
why, but you know.
Um,
So mending will restore 1d8 plus 5 every time it's cast.
okay, roll me. It'll take you about from where you were, 5 hours to get to Colony. So I guess you get to roll it 5 times, and let's see how much you heal.
Sorry, Cypher. I'm not saying you can't do it. It just sounds like Tyler's bailiwick there.
No, Tyler's definitely having issues on that front.
Yeah, I don't
That
know
was
why.
really good, actually.
Yeah.
Wow, that
She just
was good.
yeah, she just restored 55 hit points to the ship.
Whew.
That actually will get you back to full health. Technically, it gets you over full health, but it gets you to full health because you can't go over right now.
You've done this before.
Certainly puts confidence on that she should be the engineer.
I haven't done this exactly, but I have repaired a few odds and ends.
It kind of tingles when she does the repairs, especially as the ship is reforming in a slightly unnatural way. Uh, you don't recall the auto repair system feeling quite so organic isn't the right term. Arcane is probably more accurate. That being said, you still can't access the auto repair system that was supposed to be installed. You can sense it's still there. It's just non accessible at the moment.
Cassie, I think one of the things that this helmet cannot do is access the automatic repair system. Um, you did a great job, and I'm not saying you need to do this right now, but fixing that helmet to swap out with the one I'm using now might be beneficial for us. Not might, would. Definitely would.
Certainly. As soon as I can. I'm a little busy right now fixing the ship.
Like I said, you did a great job.
Colony's tower is very unimpressive. It is very much a ramshackle. They cobbled this together. There is one ship there. It's not very big. Your ship dwarfs it just in length. Heck, you're kind of
Landing
the
speed.
largest ship here right now. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. No, there's at least one ship parked. There's one ship kind of floating. You see one parked on the ground. None of them are even close to the 100 feet keel that you are. Um,
Is there space for us?
there is. It's an awkward sort of space. But you
Is
could
there
also
is
land on the ground if you want as well.
gross, so gross. No,
Like a pleb?
um, is Shay also in charge of communications?
There are no communications at Colony. It's sort of a
Okay.
park
Would
and
she?
pray.
Would she though? If it was a normal dock, that would there be like a communication between ship and port, or is it just
Spelljammers
fit in where
don't
you get
really
in?
have a like a comm system port to ship. The Spelljammer magic and the Spelljammer tower sort of sync up, and you as the pilot kind of get okay. You can go here or here or here. That is missing at this tower. You are not getting any sort of magical feedback. Um, You can see where there are empty docks. There could be people living there. You don't know. But you can see there are one or two empty docks that would kinda fit the ship. It's pushing it. But you could do it, absolutely. Whether, again, there's someone living there, or there's a trap, or it'll collapse the instant you dock, you don't know. Because none of the systems on the Spelljammer Tower are actually functioning other than as just an air tower dock, airship dock, basically.
Captain, how's your semaphore?
I would imagine Kitlak probably knows some semaphore to communicate with towers. Like that seems also to be in his wheelhouse.
Is that a language you've actually learned?
I mean, I don't think anyone's ever picked semaphore for their languages on a character sheet, at least not, in this
True.
campaign. But
Tell you
given
what,
his
I would say that
background,
Yeah, why wouldn't it be for
I would say it might.
Spelljammer?
yeah.
I would say it might fall under Thieves' Cant, kind of. I mean, it's different but related.
not-
It's a nonverbal.
But it's also, I would say, general
roll
thing.
me
It's not
your
like a
history,
thieves
Kitlak.
thing.
It's been a while
Or
since you've been on a ship. Let's see how much you remember.
All right, gonna guidance that because why not? Crit.
Nice.
Nice. Sorry, I just wanted following up on Malkil's thing. Yes. So
Kilak's going to
with a
pull a
crit,
set of semaphore flags out of
I'm
his
going to say
coat.
you're going to add it to your language skills because you know it. Period. End of quote. You just know it now.
All right.
In addition, with a nat 20, I'm going to say not only do you know it, you know how to occasionally shoot a gun to convey direct messages without all the flags.
I mean, Kitlak knows that even without the nat 20.
Yes, but there is a variation of it without being necessarily violent or offensive, or we will kill you, or this is a threat. In the semaphore language, it doesn't seem like it to anyone who's not in the know. You are in the know.
All right. Kitlak is going to pull the semaphore flags out of his jacket. I've been waiting for this, and he is going to.
Those rent.
You don't have. How long have you were trying to get on a spelljammer this whole time, and you weren't packing semaphore flags?
I can't.
Come on, that can't be the only one prepared.
I'm sorry, that's hilarious.
So Kitlak is going to sign to the tower that the ship is approaching and would like room to dock.
Just in case he's got.
Yeah, man, why not?
There's going to be a time when you roll a nat 1 and pull out the semaphore flags and not a gun, just so you know.
I don't know. I don't know about that. He already got a nat 1 in the ballista thing.
There is no response at all. You and Shay can roll me a quick
urgently
perception.
needed. Okay, yeah, I think he'll do that. And guidance on it too, because why not? Oh, it was a 15, and then it went to a 4. That is perception. That's an 11 for Kitlak.
21.
Better.
Okay. With an 11, you're looking all over the tower for any sort of activity. There is none responding. With the 21, Shay, you look beyond the tower. You notice there's a lot of activity in the port. A lot of activity. Not necessarily the good kind of activity. If you'd like, you can angle the ship to try and get a better view.
What do you mean by not the good type of activity?
There are fires. There are people in armor. You can ever so faintly hear the sounds of buildings collapsing.
It's a bit of out of the fire into the frying pan here. There's something going on the dock. Is it just
No,
the
this is
dock, or is it in the
colony
city?
proper. The tower
Colony,
is
okay.
fine. The colony is, you look beyond the tower to colony, and you're going, oh, colony's the problem right now.
Do we want to dock here, or do we want to go somewhere else? I don't
Well,
think anyone's your flag your semaphoring great. I don't think anyone's noticing though.
oh, I know I'm
Besides me.
semaphoring great. I was born doing semaphore. Came out of the egg with flags.
Yes,
One in
but
my, one in each hand, one in my teeth.
they're distracted down there though, over there.
Someday semaphore flags, and he's going to tuck them away. All right, he's gonna like lean over the edge, kind of, and see what he can see down there.
Roll me either perception or investigation if you're trying to be more specific.
When Shay is quote unquote looking, is she actually just looking out of the bridge, or is there like sensors she's looking at?
So you have a peripheral awareness of anything that the ship can see. Basically, where you're facing, there isn't a view screen per se, but if you're facing the front of the ship, you see what's in front of the ship. If you turn to the right, you see what's to the right of the ship. Where you're looking, you can see sort of the immediate area around the ship. You are close enough to the ground and approaching the Spelljammer Tower, you have a pretty good panoramic view of the area.
23 investigation.
Okay, as far as like the ship goes, like I was helping Cassie with
Oh yeah,
figuring out where damage was, so that's not like a sight thing. That's just a
no,
informational
the ship
thing.
is. Think of the ship as a phantom limb. You
Gotcha.
can,
Yeah.
if there's enough damage, you will feel it. In fact, you know that you will feel it because you have trauma from that, which we will get into one day.
Yay, trauma.
You also know there are certain weapons that, if someone explodes a fire on the hull, yes, it'll bother you, but there's a difference between fire on the hull and someone setting fire to your arm. One is a lot duller than the other, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
You said 23?
Yeah.
As you're looking, the tower is almost eerily quiet. It almost looks abandoned, except as you're peering
also,
down.
Investigation.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's
okay.
Because you're investigating the tower area. As you're peering down, you see one or two shadows kind of skitter towards the tower and then hide in it. The tower is not under attack. Colony is. You think the tower has become a sort of a hiding place while whatever's going on in Colony is going on.
Well, yeah, I think that's what Kitlak was doing. He heard the tower, and he ascertained that the tower was abandoned, essentially, and so he was really trying to look at Colony itself.
Oh, at Colony itself?
Yeah.
Oh. Do you have any sort of looking glass or anything like that, out of curiosity?
I mean,
you've got semaphore flags, but
money.
Not spyglasses?
You can make semaphore flags out of loose cloth, and I did, and I have, and they're in my coat pocket. A spyglass is an obscene amount of gold. I do not know why. It certainly is, though. No, he does not have a spyglass.
Okay, so it's not that it's not that the tower was abandoned per se. There were ships docked there. There was just no one responding to you. Now it looks like they are deliberately hiding that anyone's there, basically. In terms of Colony, you see basically the same thing with the 23 investigation that Shay did, is that parts of it are on fire. There is definitely people in armor. You're a bit better at recognizing armor, I would say, than Shay, right? In general?
I would have no idea, but
depends on the armor. Is it drow armor?
Ooh. I'll let you both roll insight. Let's see how good you remember. Or how good it inspires in you. How's that?
Guidance.
Yay.
We are getting some low rolls tonight.
Yeah, we are rolling like crap tonight.
15.
Except for some pretty good situations, though.
You said 15? For Shay, you don't recognize the armor. Yeah. For Kitlak, it sparks something in you, and then you have a real rush of Sulatar Tower, and when you were last here in Colony. Those look like Astral Elf armors. It looks like they have sent something here to damage or destroy Colony, which they've always claimed this was their property. You know that's not technically true, but they seem to be ransacking and burning this place to the ground systematically, as if they're looking for something.
Uh, um, hmm. Kitlak is going to say, "Crew, I think that we should serve as an evacuation vessel for those present here. I think that may very well be where we get our crew from. But in the meantime, we have a duty to keep those here alive, for they have helped us, and we must help them. Does that
They
sound
have?
reasonable?"
It sounds like a bit of a potluck. They have
Sounds
helped us?
Historically, yes.
I'm fine with it.
Yes, I think that would
Sorry.
be all right.
So out of character. Sorry, have they actually helped us?
I mean, in part, like the kobolds helped us. Kitlag is kind of giving like a broader, like, I can't just turn my back on people getting killed like this. It's not
Look at
okay,
it
you
this
know?
way, Shay. You were arrested here, wrongly accused, nearly imprisoned or enslaved, and this group helped you
Yeah,
and didn't
also
leave you behind.
all of that was the astral elves that did that shit. So that's the people who are harming them, to be
Yeah,
clear.
but the drow are the. Mm.
There are two
Um.
bad elves on this asteroid.
Yeah,
Just
they're
because one
well.
appears better does not mean that they
There's
are.
there isn't a good elf. If Shay's gonna be racist, label as racist. I mean, fine.
Okay. Anyways,
Well, if I'm gonna be racist anyway, my God.
um, uh,
I mean, they are all discriminating against short races, anyways. It's fine. Anyways, so are you going to just choose one of the spell jamming
I
ports
need to
to?
understand the layout of. Do I need to come in on the side? Can they get on the back if we throw planks down, or do we have planks?
If you look at your ship, there are
I'm looking.
two boarding options. Look at the top square. The
Yep.
first is at the top where you guys entered at Sulatar Tower, where those stairs are.
No.
The second is if you use
Cargo
the
hold.
cargo doors right down
Yeah.
there.
Cargo hold. Yep.
So you
So
can align that.
the back of the is that the back or the side? Where
That's the
you
back of the ship, back and bottom of the ship.
okay?
You can absolutely park that over one of the tower ports. And okay, the gravity plane is a little odd there, but I'm sure that there's a ladder that can be dealt with.
With her 21 perception, is there a spot that gives better access for them?
For evacuating people,
Yes.
the best access would be literally landing.
And besides landing.
Um, there are two port struts you could use. They're both second and third. Well, no, third and fourth story. So it dealer's choice really. They're both about equal looking in terms of dilapidation and that they can handle a ship your size.
Okay, closest one then of those.
Okay, roll me. You have navigator's tools, as I recall, correct?
Yes.
Roll me a
Yeah, because
navigation roll.
the wild space is the wild space where I consider. Oh no, I got. Wait, hang on. We got navigator's tools from somewhere, right? Or is that a different campaign?
No, you got navigator's tools. Um, I believe you purchased them at Sulatar Tower, or rather, someone else did, on your behalf at the Kobold Bar, along with Tinker's tools and a few other things.
Okay, yes, and she is proficient in them. So int, is that int? What
Yeah,
is?
go ahead and use int plus your proficiency. Um, Come on.
That's it.
That's it. That's what you would roll for any ability check. So yes, and I will be right back while you roll that.
It's not terrible, but it's not great.
We believe in you.
We need more proficiency. Yes, kitty. Did you find it? I do have inspiration for a bad joke I told last time.
Do it.
There we go.
It's a better roll. I think that's a good use of inspiration.
Sorry about that. I hope you didn't roll in that one. That would end poorly.
I used my inspiration from last week to get a nat 20.
You are a leaf on the wind. It is such a
That's
delicate
what he said
operation.
before he died. Don't.
It is such a delicate operation that no one on the tower even realizes that you've docked until the shadow no longer moves and the essence of spell jamming energy seems to dissipate ever so briefly.
I
You
will
are
be
docked.
awash, though.
What do you do?
We're
Ship doesn't have
docked. Get them on the ship so we can get out of here.
Kitlak is going to jump off the top of the ship and skid down the side and land on the dock, assuming that's like how it works.
Right now the dock is literally under the tail of the ship.
Okay, then
But
he'll
you
run
could,
across the
yeah,
top.
you could definitely land on the end there. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll like mantle over the end and then like just kind of like slide down the back end of it and just drop down to the thing.
Make
And
me an acrobatics check.
yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Guidance.
That is still almost a 30-foot drop.
Guidance. Could be worse. Let's see what my acrobatics is. Sure, it's good. Yeah, I get a +4 in acrobatics, so that is a 17.
Yeah, you do actually manage. You're not athletic or fanciful about it. You kind of look like you're half scrabbling as you slide down, but it's enough to slow you down so you don't actually hurt yourself when you land on the dock back there.
Why is he
You
going?
have,
He needs to be manning the gun so he can shoot stuff in case something comes after us.
yes, you are rather conspicuous as the largest ship that has just arrived.
Is there what's the anatomy of like the dock itself? Is it like a long central staircase that's enclosed in a tower? Because that's kind of what I'm seeing.
It is basically, yes, a square tower um, that has stairs inside. Basically, there are 10 feet from where you landed to the entrance to the Spelljammer Tower. Inside is, well, there is, of course, light from the great dead dragon and the entire everything. But the inside is actually very shadowed. It's very well, in some ways, insulated from the heat. It is still a lot warmer than where you just came from. The ship is surprisingly well ventilated. But yeah, you are currently, if you went on the nearest one, This is only a 4-story tower. You are on the 4th story.
Kitlek is going to stick his head in and yell down inside the tower. Those of you hiding, I offer refuge aboard our vessel, the Lava Crow. Please make your way to our dock number and board our ship at your nearest convenience. We are getting the hells out of here. Bring whoever you can with you.
Genevieve, as the newly anointed first mate, you have to make sure the captain doesn't do stupid things.
Like what?
Like that! He just jumped off onto the dock. He could have killed himself. Cassie could at least fly down.
Look, I'm not the first mate and I never wanted it. I'm the chef.
No one wanted to. That's how all the first mates begin. All the good ones.
Does Kitlek get any response?
There's the ominous silence turns into a wary silence. No one moves. No one is willing to expose themselves quite so.
Captain, I'm leaving in 20 seconds.
No, you aren't. Kitlek is
Prepare
going to
to
yell back in.
undock.
Kitlek's going to yell back in. If you wish to stay here and risk your lives with the astral elves, that is your business. But I offer you a surefire way to survive and escape with your health intact. Please, don't make me regret sticking my neck out for you all. Earliest possible convenience, having to persuade my navigator that we need to stay here and wait for you lot. Let's go, chop chop.
Roll me a persuasion with disadvantage.
Really? Disadvantage?
How far is Shay from that for disadvantage? Okay, hold on that roll.
Well, he is at the back of the ship calling in. You are at the front. So you are currently at least 140 feet away.
Quote unquote, how can I see him closer? Wait. See him and being within is different. Like, he has to be within 60 feet for me to help him. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a difference between within sight and within 60 feet.
All right, Kitlak is going to roll that with guidance. And that would normally be a 6, but he is going to add a d10 to that. Actually, it would probably be more than 6. I think he put some stuff into persuasion. So that is 6 plus 8 for 14 plus 3 for persuasion is a 17 with disadvantage.
Okay, with a 17, there is a quiet shuffle, and then you see a tiny little kobold. Seems to have a small set of wings. Not enough to fly, just an undeveloped Erd would be the closest approximation. And you're Kitlak.
That is me. I am Kitlak. And you are going to be okay. I promise it.
Well, yes. Tower stay. Tower always stay.
Tower always stay until they realize people are here, and then they invade Tower. Yes?
Yes, and then we run screaming.
Which means that a great deal of you will die, because the Astral Elves, I'm sure, don't want any survivors telling about how they attacked what is ostensibly their own colony.
Big Warren says this happened before. Go to Tower, stay in Tower. Spotter, follow, Big Warren says.
I'm sure this did happen before. I'm sure that there were a sizable amount of casualties. I hope that people will survive. I truly do, but we have no guarantee of survival unless we are not here. If you wish to join us on our ship, by all means. If you want to chance it with the Astral Elves, that is your choice.
Spotter, follow Big Warren. Have to follow Big Warren or don't get food. But Spotter will relay message to all hiding.
Please.
you come with Spotter?
I tragically need to wait with my ship. I fear that my navigator might get a little bit fly away happy without my presence.
Okay, Spotter go. You don't leave ship Spotter behind if they choose to stay?
No, of course not.
Okay, Spotter relay. And you see him kind of shuffle back into the shadows, and you hear little tiny running footsteps. Make me a perception check, if you would.
Okay. Good old guidance. Excuse you, that's cocked as heck. And there isn't even a 2 on the die. I see it sit.
It generated, Tyler.
I don't know about that. That's pretty suspicious. Oh no, there's a 5. The 2 was in the other D. So this is a perception check, you said?
Correct.
Heck, Kitlax can use his other D10.
Can
He only has 2 of these, but he's going to use it. Well, it's only a use if he succeeds on it. That is a 14 total. Is that a
Surprisingly,
success or
he
no?
actually rolled very low on it.
Okay, so
You know that that as you were talking to Spotter, someone shifted into shadow just on the other side of the entrance to your port. Still in shadow, much taller than you, just sort of watching. You are aware of them.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, what did you want to do, Shay?
Shay would like to use the ship's speakers and minor illusion to say in a draconian voice, "The ship is leaving soon."
Do you know Draconic?
Not dracon. It like I'm not speaking a different language. I'm speaking in that dialect.
Okay.
He's just
Kind of
trying to
like,
make
kind of,
himself
kind of like
sound.
I'm not speaking Aaron. I'm speaking in Irish accent.
Okay, so you're just trying to sound like using minor illusion to sound like a dragon, or to
Yes.
give. Okay.
At least the yeah.
Roll me
Ish.
a deception
Ish.
check. Yeah. To convince anyone listening that it is a dragon enough.
That's a 22.
Surprisingly, a lot of people do believe that. Um, that said, in the shadows, do you do anything about that, Kitlak?
Kitlak is going to ready an action to shoot the creature in the shadows if it emerges and is an astral elf, or if it's the weird creeper that made all the slurping noises from before.
Kill it the way we're killing the other things.
What was that?
What were we aiming at before specifically to down these guys? There was something we were aiming at. I forgot what it was.
You mean the
I don't
mechanical beholder you were fighting earlier?
No, when we were in.
No, he's talking about the crystal.
Yeah, do they have crystals?
You wouldn't know. You're not there to look.
I mean, if they have a crystal, he's going to try and shoot at it if it is an elf.
I mean,
that's a lot of ifs.
I'm trying to understand what.
Shay, you're on the bridge. You can see where you're facing. That's about it.
Yeah,
this is not,
this
trying
is
to
not Star
pre-program
Trek.
in
This is not Star Trek.
responding to a threat, essentially.
Before we continue, Genevieve and Cassie, what are you two doing?
I would imagine Cassie's probably still standing on the hole.
Okay. There is a greater gravity now trying to enforce itself on there, so unless you're standing on the top or on the very bottom, you might have to make a roll or two in the near future. Genevieve, what are you doing?
Genevieve is probably still up on top by the sails because she never went back down when they got away and landed. So she's just kind of watching Kitlak do all this. She has no
Fair enough.
idea what she should be doing because not a whole lot she can do.
Yeah.
All right.
If there was a greater gravity pulling at her, she would have felt that, and she would have just activated her jetpack and gone to a more stable place to stand.
Okay. Kitlak, do you examine the shadow? Or you're just gonna kind of ignore it.
Kitlak's
Have
gonna,
you
I
ready?
guess, examine the shadow that appears to be the direction we're going in.
Okay.
Let's give it an
You
investigation.
see.
Oh, I thought we had a roll for it.
Yeah, go ahead, roll for it. Let's see what you get.
That would be a 15 on the roll.
A 15. With a 15, you see a bit of a tail kind of swish ever so lazily. Um, you recognize that sort of tail. That's a tiefling tail.
Oh, Kitlak's going to lower his firearm somewhat. Well, come on, get on board if you're ready.
Uh, the tiefling lets out a little chuckle and he steps forward, absolutely wearing astral elf armor, and is the tiefling that was with the elves that paid you last time. And he says, well, I'm not that much of a traitor. I do enjoy my position a little too much. I was just hoping we could talk.
Higher.
The floor is yours, Kitlak says, still keeping
And we're
his pistol lowered.
and we're going to end there because it is 9:30.
That it is. Thank you, John.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us, and we'll see what
Thank you.
happens next week.